now on the same billing.
And so we're ready to go. Micheal Nunn, the reigning IBF middleweight champion, defending his crown against Barkley, trying to regain a world title, one he lost in February of this year. Carlos Padilla, the referee. We would remind you early, he is a referee who does not get too involved when boxers are fighting on the inside, which could help that man, Barkley. He will just slap their gloves away and let them fight. Nunn showing more movement early here than even some would anticipate. Talking to Barkley already and flicking out the jab. Nunn laying against the rope, something I don't know that they want him to do, but Barkley not hitting him very easily, instead getting nailed with counter shots from Nunn. Very dangerous tactic by Micheal Nunn, but it works. And by the way, these ropes are have a lot of give in them. Remember Ali against Foreman in Zaire when he stood against those ropes and let them absorb the shots Foreman was hitting him with? That looks like Nunn's strategy. Boy, they are really roughing each other up on the inside, and as I said, Carlos Padilla loath to get in there. Big warning to Barkley right off the bat, and the same to Micheal Nunn. It's a street fight in the first round, folks. They're yelling from Nunn's corner to tell Padilla to watch Barkley's head, feeling like he might be butting a bit. See Padilla just pushing the gloves away. Barkley lands an uppercut, and Nunn just kind of shakes his head like it didn't hurt him. Nunn lands a big shot on the inside. Well, Micheal Nunn is not running. He is wailing away with Barkley. He looks like he wants an early knockout, and he is nailing Barkley with big shots. Some said it would be bad for Nunn to do this. So far, it's working for him. But then Hearns also did this, and eventually Barkley nailed him. Nunn has Barkley on the end of the jab. Micheal Nunn has landed some major league shots in this first round. Big uppercut by Nunn, and a left, but Barkley with a left hook. A big hook by Barkley may have stunned Micheal Nunn. Nunn standing there with Barkley, exchanging. Not what many expected from Nunn in the beginning of this bout. Big right by Barkley. Half a minute left to go in round one. Nunn with the uppercut and the lefts. It's been primarily Micheal Nunn, but Barkley has been there with some big shots. Nunn with his hands at his waist. A wild first round. Blood from the mouth of Barkley. Nunn landing uppercut after uppercut. It's been Micheal Nunn, the warrior, not Micheal Nunn, the boxer, in this round. Some post-round activity. This man came here to prove something, folks, Micheal Nunn, and he's trying against Barkley. Barkley didn't have any trouble catching Micheal Nunn in the first round, but as Nunn predicted, he didn't like what he found.
You're loading too fast. Settle down and place your punches to the outside and then work to the inside. And what I said now? Yeah. Place your punches, work to the inside and the outside. And double up. What the heck going in? Move that head down. Move that head not stationary. Okay? It's not a stationary target.
This bout could hardly have started at a quicker pace. Now, Nunn counterpunching off the ropes. The uppercut, an important weapon for him, and the left hook. Three-punch combination by Micheal Nunn. But Barkley, and I think we're going to see a left hook, yes. People wondered what would happen when Micheal Nunn got nailed with a big left hook by Barkley. Well, that was a big one. Nunn looked stunned for a moment, but didn't come close to going down. And by the way, as we head into round two, if you're wondering whether Micheal Nunn has ever been down, early in his career against Carl Jones, he was hit with a perfect left hook, went down, but came back to not only win the fight, won that round. Nunn showing a little bit more movement from Barkley.
Let's go.
No, this is what Nunn did against Juan Roldan. Many thought it was a mistake, but he wound up winning handily. Nunn just laying on those ropes. Jab of Nunn, of course, an important weapon. Gets in against Barkley. Remember this about Iran Barkley, and remember it as you look at Nunn rain punches on him. Tommy Hearns did the same thing to him over 3 rounds. Couldn't stop him. There's the jab of Nunn, trying to keep Barkley at bay with it. They clashed heads there. A warning by Padilla to Barkley. Big hook by Barkley. He's finding the range with that hook. The right hand low of Micheal Nunn, and Barkley's hook is getting there. Nunn with the uppercut and the right hook. Both of these men are superb body punchers. Both Barkley and Nunn go to the body as well as any middleweight, any boxer, period. We're in round 2. It's scheduled for 12 for the IBF Middleweight Championship of the World. Micheal Nunn putting his title on the line against Iran Barkley, and it's starting out like almost every Barkley fight does. There's a war. Barkley throwing inside, not landing against Nunn. Nunn smothering those punches of Barkley and fighting on the inside, as he did against Roldan. This is almost exactly the way he fought Domingo Roldan. A chopping right hand by Nunn. If he has a weakness offensively, it's that he tends to slap with his right hook. Good left hand by Nunn. Padilla having a tough time getting in between these two boxers. Nunn may have stunned Barkley with one of those lefts. Big left hand rocks Barkley. Another. Nunn getting a little wild, but landing with Barkley. Remember, Barkley was down against Olajide, got up to beat him. It was hurt against Hearns and beat him. After the bell, Micheal Nunn lands a punch, and I mean it was way after the bell. We will go into the corner of Iran Barkley.
You're swinging to the inside, and you're not hitting him out here.
Right.
Now you bring the punch on the outside and bring him out here. Understand?
Go to order, Iran. Split to your right. Split to your right. Split to your right. Get the bucket there.
Couple deep breaths. All right, now you're starting to really slip now and counter. That's what I want you to keep doing. Walking around him. As he moves in, you move to the side. Keep the jab out. Mike, keep the jab on. Just keep doing what comes naturally to you. Because you're doing it. Okay, here we go. Gargle that. It's all yours.
Both throw yourself out of position. And hook real hard.
Iran Barkley came into this fight at least a 9-1 underdog in the betting odds, and even though Nunn has had the better of, you heard them tell Micheal to counter, move, not get in so many exchanges with Barkley. That's a little bit what we're seeing right here. They want him to just walk him around and then land those punches. The more movement you give Iran Barkley, the more problems it gives him.